Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to City Skylines PS4 edition, and we are overlooking Johto here. And I've been thinking that these buildings, there's too many, far too many hotels and casinos, and this isn't what I wanted when I wanted to do this, and I've figured out a way to get around that. So what we're going to do is go into districts, and we're actually going to split Johto in half. So we're going to go to remove district like this. Just try and get straight. Just going to draw a line all the way up like that and bring it down. We're going to remove this section and we're going to split Johto into two sections. We're going to have Johto Lake and then just Johto. And this way, what we can do is, if I go back into districts and go to specializations, we're going to change this to a leisure specialization, like that. So all of these commercial buildings that are hotels and casinos and just massive sky rises that I didn't want in Johto should now change and should now become different businesses. So let's just watch what happens. We've got a new business going in just there, look. And we have a gym going in there. We have anything else going in. Potentially, is that a comedy club? I think that might be a comedy club. Let's have a look at that. It is. Laugh your bottom off. We have a comedy club. So all of these hotels, etc., etc., are going to disappear. Didn't want them here in the first place. They were way too big for what I wanted. And we should start getting much smaller style and scale buildings dropping in their place. We've got a restaurant here. What's this that's gone in? A nightclub. That might get taken out. Here we have a gaming business. Game station. Ironically, that is actually the name of a company in the UK that kind of folded. We had a game business called Game Station. They were bought out by Game. In fact, no, it was the other way around. Tell a lie. Game was the bigger brand, but Game was the one that was in financial trouble, and they were bought out, I think, by Game Station. And the Game Station name changed to just Game. I think that's how it. What's this new business that's just gone in here? Another gym. So we should start to see a lot of small-scale businesses popping up in their place. We've got another arcade business here. Going in just here, a karaoke place, another arcade, Puckman arcade, another personal gym. So now we're going to start to see a real reduction in height in the buildings around Johto, which is exactly what I wanted in the first place. So let's add in Paint District. Here we go. Let's add in Johto Lake District. Like that. Push that across. This is going to be our... Oops. Why have I got multiple districts? There we go. Let's go large. There we go. So this is going to be Johto Lake. This area over here. We'll push that out towards the freeway. That. Just try and square that up a bit. And go to small. Let's just clean up these district borders here. go. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. And stay on the freeway. There we go, and let's just clean that up completely by removing sections that we don't need or want. We'll just clean that out completely like that. Get some proper separation between the two districts. There we go. Okay, so we need to rename Mill District. So we go into Inspector and name the district. So there we go, we have Johto Lake. And now we're going to set our policies for this. So we're going to encourage Parks and Rec, give them smoke distribution, or smoke detector distribution. We'll encourage recycling, recreational use. We want small business enthusiast, high-rise ban, heavy traffic ban, encourage biking. Okay. I think that's everything, and now we just need to set our district specialization. Set it as there we go, as leisure. We seem to still have the forestry specialization in the. Oh no, we don't. We took it out. What is the tree? Oh, it's the Parks and Rec, isn't it? That's what the trees are. Okay, so we now have Johto Lake. Let's rezone a little bit of the commercial, etc. down here. So I want to take advantage of some of this space that these houses are using up. So we're going to put some commercial in these larger blocks just here. And that's quite a nice space there as well. So what I'm actually going to do as well is move our clinic just a little bit. Just to there, like that. And now we've got a nice block there that we can zone in, and hopefully that'll spawn in a hotel. What else can we do? Let's take that out and rezone that, and rezone that as well. Make those two residential. So we've got a few little houses here along the waterfront. Like that. Let's see what commercial will eventually spring up in here once the demand for commercial kind of increases a little bit. But here we go, let's take a look at Johto now, and you can see there's a huge difference in the way that this looks. This is the look that I was going for originally. By making this leisure, it's definitely helped, and I think having leisure and tourism quite close to each other is also quite a good thing as well. So there we go, that's the little changes to Johto. So we're going to make a start on Kanto. Kanto is going to be a bit tricky because it's a huge area over here, as you can see, look, that we've got to work with. Obviously we've got that border there which will take some of that space away, but it's still a very, very large block of space to work with. So we need to make sure we get this spot on. So let's wait for the day to increase. See, traffic is actually picking up with all these new businesses taking off. We're getting a whole range of new commercial traffic coming into the district that we didn't have before. So we may need to make some changes to our road network as well. But what I am going to do is, at some point, create a little turn-off. In fact, actually, let's do that right now if we can. Let's create a turn-off for our tourism district for Johto Lake. So we have a three-way intersection here, which we could potentially use. And that would mean stripping out some of this road. So let's do that. Let's strip out some of this freeway. Like so. I'll take a little bit more out as well so we can get this lined up exactly the way I want it. And what I like to do to make sure that I have perfectly square edges is I like to have a nice straight connecting road like that, so that I know that the roads I'm connecting to are perfectly level. So let's take that piece out for a second. There we go. So that's our little stop there. Let's put in the three-way intersection, and I want to turn this using right on the D-pad to spin it around that way. Just kind of tweak it. There we go. And this will be the feed in here. And what we're going to do, obviously, is remove that piece there. We can now re-upgrade this to highway. Like that. I just need to change the direction on that piece. There we go. So we have our little intersection here, and obviously I don't want to go onto freeway like this. So once again, I'm going to kind of plan this out using, oops, we're on upgrade, aren't we? It's going to be awkward on me. Alright, that looks to be a 45-degree angle. So from that, this is kind of a bit of a long-winded way of doing this, but it means that I should, if I do this right, be able to get a nice straight line connection like that. A little bit long-winded. But now should be able to pull down in a straight line. Hopefully. Yeah, it's not going to let me do it, is it? Ugh. Alright, let's bring this line down a bit. That's not straight. You can tell straight away that's not straight. Hopefully this is. Alright, now we've got a longer distance, I can actually draw a straight line. Like that. And same again there. So now I have my straight line connectors here that are the same length as well. That's the important thing. They are the same length. And we'll just cap that off there for a second. And let's rebuild the highway over here. Just connect these up. And just change the direction on these pieces. There we go. So that's all going to flow normally again. So we speed time up. There we can see absolutely nothing has changed over here. Obviously they're not using the slip roads because there's nothing to connect to. Apart from feeding straight back onto the opposite side of the road. But we now have a link over here for Johto Lake. So before we build Kanto, we're actually going to just expand a little bit on Johto Lake. So one of the things I want to do is I want to be able to merge these two into a single road, which means I need a piece of road about there, I think. Take that out. Now hopefully I should be able to upgrade this. Actually no, I don't need to upgrade this. What I need is a straight line, and I need to be able to draw 2-lane traffic. And there we go. So what I now need to change, now I need the upgrade tool, is I need to upgrade this to one way. Like that. So what's facing the wrong way? This piece here. There we go. And that piece there. So the traffic now will have 2 lanes that will go that way and immediately feed onto this, which will then split off 1 lane at a time onto either side of the highway. And then same again, we'll have 2 lanes feeding in individually to a 2-lane piece of road that then feeds into a 2-lane piece of road. So, a little clunky, but that is essentially what I was aiming for, is a nice kind of filtered merging like that. So let's capitalise. Well, you can see we've got some commercial going in over here. We don't have anything in these big blocks just yet. This is what I'm kind of really curious about, is these larger blocks here. They could potentially become... Oh, something's going in. Is this going to be a hotel? I may need to delete this and let it try and rebuild. Yeah, it's a small little shack. I'll just delete that and let something else grow into place. Now we need to kind of filter stuff over into this area. So we're going to pause time. We're going to draw in some little bits of road. And get everything all sort of connected up. And we're going to have another little residential district over here. And we'll put a little bit more commercial in over here so that we can actually have our high-rises. Well, I say high-rises. We can have our hotels and maybe casinos and stuff in this section over here. And then have residential kind of surrounding it. We could also perhaps do with a second station. How about we do that? Let's put in a second station. Let's just take that piece out. So, I need to get this kind of lined up about right. So, easiest way to do this is going to be to draw the road up. Now, I know that's going to be too far. Actually, will it let me... Is that... no, it won't let me put a level crossing straight in because of that crossover piece there. Maybe if I were to just kind of con it a little bit. What do we think? Should we have a level crossing? Yeah, let's do that. Instead of messing around, let's have a level crossing just there instead. So we'll take that piece out and that piece out and that piece out. And what we'll actually do is, if we remove that section of rail, we're actually going to move our station ever so slightly. If it will let us. Oh, I know why it won't let me do it. I had to be a little bit clever when I was placing this station, and so I built the station in and then built the road next to it, and it's going to cause some issues. If I try and move it again. So we'll ignore that then. We'll just have to have a slightly wonky connection. Otherwise, it's just going to be more hassle than it's worth to try and correct that issue there. So let's put in our level crossing. Like that. And then let's try and freeform it. Like that, so it's not a horrible jerk. There we go. Now we can do the same over here. We can just bring this down a bit more. Like there, and then we'll freeform that. Peace out. It's a little bit too long, that's why. Just freeform. Just a slight bend, and then freeform it back again. Beautiful. There we go. So we've got a nice little kink in the road there. That's worked out really nicely, I think. So now we have our level crossing. Let's put that power line back in just in case we need it. I think we do. It's not quite long enough. There we go, just to make sure. Beautiful. So we have a little road connection here that allows us to get rail traffic, or traffic that's used the rail system, to come into this area over here. So now let's start building in here. Because we've already used up quite a bit of time in this episode, I'm going to do this and then come back to you in just a moment. Okay, there we go. So, what I've done is I've brought our double road around here like this. I've added a little side road down here onto our sort of waterfront area. I've continued this inside, built a roundabout just to kind of manage some of the traffic. And this is going to be our kind of commercial district here with our hotels and gambling and so on and so forth. I've moved our cleaning stuff, as you can see, so I'll just wait for that pollution to clear, and I've moved that over here. So we've got 2 incinerators now. I've put a second one in. I've also got our bus depot there and our taxi depot just there as well, and they're feeding straight onto that roundabout just there. So this here is going to be kind of residential, and this is going to be an extension of a residential over here, and let's start to zone some of that in. So keeping it low density as always. I want this to be a nice sort of small area. I don't want it to be overbuilt. Let's put in some commercial. So I want commercial to go in here, and I'm going to have to be really strict with what I allow to actually spawn in there, because I don't want giant skyscrapers like we had before. So what I may even do is actually restrict just how much they can actually go. If I go to select, let's see what goes up first of all. It's looking like it's going to be a giant casino slash hotel, which is, again, I don't want anything that big. It's just too big. So let's take out a strip of each like that. Reduce those down to 3. See if that reduces the height of the stuff that gets built. It may do, it may not do. Hotels that size I can kind of live with. Oh, we've got a big thing going in over here, finally. That's way too big. Look at the size of that. It just dwarfs everything else. It looks completely out of place. Oh, I need to put water piping in, don't I? I forgot about that. Let's just extend our pipes up. Actually, going to have to extend that one a little bit further by the look of it. There we go. And are we covered everywhere else? Everywhere except for this bit here. Well, I built a little side strip there originally to deal with the water. Let's build off this side piping here. There we go, that's spot on. Let's keep the angle straight. And just extend that one out just a bit. There we go. That's a little big, but it's better than it was. Again, that's too big. I don't want anything that big. But I do want hotels, this is the thing. I want some hotels to spawn, and maybe even some casinos, but I don't want anything that's just going to dominate the landscape. I think that's a little too big, so again, I'm going to get rid of that. Let's see what else will spawn in. You see, hotels that size, yeah, I'm happy with hotels that size. They're not too big. You know, they kind of blend in a little bit better. And as long as there aren't too many of those, that'll be fine. We've got a little bit more demand for residential, so let's check the residential zoning we put in. That's almost filled up already, pretty quickly. Alright, let's add a bit down here. Let's get some nice houses in that section just there. I'm also wary about the fact that if we have really large buildings, as they level up, they're going to potentially get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's another reason why I'm wary about the size of some of these buildings that are going in. I don't want them to upgrade way too big. Did I have the high-rise ban policy in this district? I think I did. High-rise, 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 high-rise. Yes. Oh, and someone asked me whether or not yeah, they're right, look, I did no, it's ticked on. Encourage biking is ticked in Johto. I'm in Johto Lake. Now I'm in Johto. Someone noticed that I actually clicked off encourage biking, so thank you very much for that. We'll turn that back on. Yeah, that's better. So how big is this hotel that's gone in? That's pretty big. But it's the only one that's down there, so I'll leave that for now. I can always come and strip it back out and replace it with something else later. But there we go. Johto Lake is almost finished. Yeah, so I'm going to just fast forward time a little bit to let some of these buildings build up and add a bit more zoning in, and then we'll finish off with a look at the completed Johto Lake. Alright, there we go. So everything is kind of zoned in a little bit. You can see we've got a nice hotel that's been built just here on this little slip road coming down. And our residential area has really sort of started to thrive a little bit. I've dropped in an elementary school just there, and a high school just there. I've got a couple of parks dotted around as well. So we've got a playground just over there. We've got a large park just there. We also have a zoo. We can see the people and we can hear the animals, but we can't see the animals. But we do have a zoo. Oh no, tell a lie, there was an animal. Just saw one nipping into the back of the shed there, look. There we go. It's hard to see in the night time. There. Is that a bear? I think that's a bear. What do we have over here? Can we see what's in this area over here? sea lions, I think. Or was that? No, it's penguins. We've got a little penguin enclosure just there. And I can't really see anything else. What's in here? It's our aviary. Oh, someone's got a dog with them. So yeah, we have a zoo, and we also have a theme park. See the roller coaster just kind of whizzing around a little bit. Let's slow time down a bit so we can actually see the roller coaster moving properly. There it is. Oh, you need some real grapefruits to ride that thing. Look at it. It's vicious. It's so tight and condensed. But there we go. So we have a theme park in there. We've got a few high-rise hotels and a couple of casinos, and I've kind of let those ones go simply because this is kind of our touristy hub. The one problem we may have is I've had to reallocate this or reposition this ever so slightly because that crossover junction there counts as part of the station. Having it there meant that anytime any train pulled in, whether it was going to carry on going to this way or not, meant that the barriers stayed down and nothing moved. So we've got this huge backlog of traffic just trying to move, and obviously a huge amount of pedestrians waiting to cross either side of that as well. So all that remains really now is to create a bus route from our terminal here, which will actually cover this. So between episodes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bus route in that'll service our commercial bits over here, so our zoo and our theme park, and also we'll add one for our residential, and we'll have one that will feed down here to the touristy area as well. I'll put some bike roads in as well so that we can encourage cycling in this area as well. I'll make a few little upgrades and tweaks. But yeah, there we go. So we started out, we split the districts and we expanded Johto Lake, and we now have two very, very nice districts, one for tourism and one for leisure. So, with that said, that's pretty much the end of this episode, so thanks for watching. I am Jim Bobber, and I will catch you back with some more City Skylines PS4 edition very soon.